What are the other signs? One of them is analog companies that are known for something very specific, diversifying what they're doing. One of them would be EHX, that recently came out with plugins of their pedals. You would think like, why are they going in the plugin realm? Well, one of the reasons is that a lot of people are going digital. So it makes sense for them to adapt, because if they keep doing just pedals and pedals and pedals, and everyone is kind of moving away from just typical pedal products, and they're going to companies that are doing plugins, if your favorite pedal company or your favorite guitar amp company is doing digital versions of what they do, that means they can tap into another market, which is super smart. There's also JHS pedals that has done the same kind of thing. They've done digital versions of some of their best products. I think the one that is really going in with the whole concept of digital products would be Brian Wampler over at Wampler Pedals. You could see Brian Wampler advertising courses, which is a bit different than what the others are doing. So Brian Wampler is giving courses on not only on how the circuits of pedal work, but how you can build your own pedals. So he's thinking forward. He's really implementing some of the new technologies at hand so that he can stay relevant, which he's adapting super well. And I think he's really showing the way forward for a lot of companies. You also have Vertex Effects, who are doing tone courses. We've seen YouTubers that do that. I've mentioned Rhett Shull. He does that, where he has courses where he shows you how to dial in pedals and how to get the best sound. Vertex Effects kind of does the same thing, but we may be seeing more companies going in that direction. So they're not omitting and, getting rid of the analog stuff. They're just adapting, trying to stay relevant with the ever-changing economy and the new technologies that are coming out. Not everyone's caught on yet, but many companies are looking at alternative ways to tap into the market that is not buying the super expensive stuff. So if you want every single pedal from EHX because you love them, but you're playing with modelers and you can't have a stack of pedals like what I have in that corner, perhaps having digital versions of them at a fraction of the cost makes more sense. Now, the following sign is actually quite interesting. It's all the companies who are saying, I'm done with the old model. Now I'm going to be selling directly to the customers. For the longest time, it was always with the same kind of system where you would have the manufacturer making the product, it would go to a distributor and then to a retailer, and then the retailer would sell to the customer. It's been like that for ages, and it's like that in most industries. However, now we're seeing a shift where companies are saying, you know what, that margin that I'm losing here, I need to recoup somewhere. So what they're doing is, instead of selling to your major box like Long & McQuade, Sweetwater, etc., they're selling directly to you. As far as I can see, there's a few companies who've adopted fully this model where you have the people going online to the web store for that company, buying the product directly, and the company ships to the customer. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you have companies like Chase Bliss who are doing this. There's Bigfoot Engineering. Recently, we've seen Mythos Pedals do the same thing. Zach made a video where he talked about how he had to let a bunch of people go. I think it's him and his wife taking care of building the pedals and shipping out to customers. There's companies out there who have also taken a different approach. We've seen companies that are going far less to events like NAMM or Guitar Summit in Germany and things like that. So they're not going to those places because they don't really need the distribution in the same sense as before. They don't need the retailers as before. So we've seen Gibson open up stores where you can go to the Gibson store itself. I think Fender has a very similar model as well. So they're kind of capturing a higher margin than before because they're selling more directly. They're not having to deal with third-party individuals to sell and distribute what they have. We've also seen a sort of hybrid system where you have companies where, if you go to JHS pedals, Wampler, Electro Harmonics, or Earthquaker devices, companies like that, they're still in the big box stores, but you can also buy directly from them. So oftentimes they're going to have pre-sales. You can buy directly from those companies. What this means is that we're seeing the companies trying to kind of disturb the way things have been for a long time in order to survive. So they're getting rid of the old model, trying to adapt. And I mean, good for them, because we want these companies to stick around for a long time.